All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Tanvi Taneja. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping to continue their one-to-one informal talks at Mamallapuram in Tamil Nadu. India and China agree not to allow radicalisation to affect multicultural thread prevailing in both countries. India extends over $60 million line of credit to Comoros for energy and maritime defence cooperation. Turkey says it will not stop its operation against Kurdish fighters in northern Syria. US threatens fresh sanctions on Ankara. In sports, India tightens its grip in the second cricket test against South Africa in Pune, with visitors losing early wickets. And 4 Indian women boxers, including Mary Kom, to play semi-final bouts of World Championships in Russia today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping will continue their one-on-one conversation on the second day of their informal summit between India and China. Both the leaders will meet at Hotel Taj Fisherman's Cove at around 10 this morning. Yesterday, Prime Minister Modi and President Xi held a highly productive meeting in a pleasant environment over cultural program and a sumptuous dinner at the sprawling Show Temple complex. Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale informed that the dinner meet continued well beyond the scheduled time and lasted for around 2.5 hours. Mr. Gokhale in a press conference said that both the leaders spent around 5 hours of quality time together in a one-to-one informal setup and discussed their national visions, governance priorities and ways to achieve them. President Xi agreed to work closely with Prime Minister Modi to further the economic development of both the nations. On terrorism, both leaders acknowledged that radicalisation is a real problem for countries as diverse, complex and large as India and China. They agreed that radicalisation should not be allowed to affect the multicultural thread prevailing in both the countries.
There was some discussion on trade-related issues, on economic issues, on trying to identify areas for investment that the two countries could to encourage, and also on how to enhance the trade volume and the trade value. Radicalization was a matter of concern to both, and that both would work together to see that radicalization and terrorism did not affect the fabric of our multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-religious societies.
Before that, the Prime Minister guided President Xi through the history of the temple complex of Mamallapuram, where their personal rapport was clearly visible. Both the leaders acknowledged the long cultural history of each other's nations and discussed Tamil and Buddhism links between India and Chinese province of Fujian. Earlier, President Xi was accorded a grand cultural welcome as he arrived in his special plane at the Chennai airport. He thanked Prime Minister Modi for this overwhelming reception and other arrangements. More from our correspondent.
The meeting between the two leaders in a setting of warmth and friendship yesterday has set the ball rolling for the crucial talks today. Both the leaders will meet at Hotel Taj Fisherman's Cove near Mamallapuram at around 10 a.m. to carry forward their one-on-one conversation. This will be followed by a delegation-level talks in which External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and NSA Ajit Doval will be present. Today's talks are likely to remain focused around international and regional issues, though there is no bar on any issues to be touched upon. Prime Minister Modi will also host a lunch for President Xi before winding up the second informal summit between the two neighbors. With Anshuman Mishra, Jai Singh, AR News, Mamallapuram.
India has said it will extend a line of credit of over $60 million to Comoros in the field of energy and maritime defence cooperation. Addressing the Parliament of the East African island nation Comoros at its capital Moroni, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said both the countries have signed some important agreements including cooperation in defence and energy sectors. He said India will extend a line of credit of over $41.6 million for setting up of 18 megawatt power plant in Moroni and another $20 million for the procurement of high-speed interceptor boats.
India has also announced a line of credit of $20 million for procurement of high-speed interceptor boats. I am also happy to welcome the signing of the agreement on tele-education, telemedicine, e-Vidya Bharati and e-Arogya Bharati.
The Vice President was also conferred the Order of the Green Crescent, the highest civilian honour of Comoros, by Azali Osomani, President of Comoros, in Moroni. Union Minister for Women and Child Welfare, Smriti Irani, has condemned the meeting between Congress Party's United Kingdom unit and British Labour Party leaders to discuss Jammu and Kashmir. Addressing a press conference in Mumbai, Ms. Irani said Congress should explain to people why the party is trying to malign the country. The BJP leader said that the people will give the Congress Party a befitting reply in the upcoming assembly polls. Campaigning for assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana has intensified. Ministers and senior leaders from all the political parties are addressing rallies or holding press conferences to put forth their points to the voters in Maharashtra. We have a report.
Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said in a campaign rally in Thane that the coalition government had put in place many useful works for the welfare of the citizens. On the other hand, the Aam Aadmi Party (AAP) has expressed its willingness to rejuvenate the state's environmental, social, socio-economic and physical infrastructure in its manifesto. Meantime, total of 1,192 complaints have been filed on the C-Vigil app created by the Election Commission to report complaints regarding violations of the Code of Conduct. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
Our correspondent spoke to some of the voters in Mumbai about their expectations from these assembly elections.
I am Debarati, and my expectations is that they should make Mumbai cleaner city than it is. Of course, we've gone a little ahead and we've already shown a lot of responsibility, and it is clean, but it should just constantly be cleaner. There should be safety for women.
I am Prakash Bharjoshi. According to me, the first issue is farmers' condition, farm ecology. Another issue is the way urban centers in Maharashtra being treated. There is no infrastructure, roads are bad, even the water supply is not good. I hope the new government will tackle issue.
Our Chandigarh correspondent has filed this report on election campaign in Haryana.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath yesterday addressed 4 election rallies at Kalka, Jind, Narendra and Sonipat. He criticized the Congress for opposing abrogation of Section 370 in Jammu and Kashmir and alleged that Congress cannot see India getting wrong. Senior BJP leader JP Nadda also campaigned in the Hirwal area known as Land of Soldiers and raised the issue of 370. On the other side, Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad, while releasing the party's manifesto in Chandigarh, alleged that BJP governments work less but publicize more. Ashwini Kumar Sharma, AIR News, Chandigarh.
The BJP has approached the Election Commission to complain against the alleged misuse of the government machinery and advertisements by the ruling Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. The party delegation led by MP Vijay Goyal said that Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been trying to claim credit for work done by others through costly advertisements. For quick news updates, visit our News on AIR app and follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com. Turkey has said it will not stop its operation against Kurdish fighters in northern Syria. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said despite the threats from other countries, the steps taken will not be stopped. Turkish forces faced fierce resistance from US-allied Syrian Kurdish fighters on the third day as casualties mounted and the number of those who fled the violence rose to 1 lakh. Meanwhile, expressing concern over the ongoing military offensive, the Trump administration has threatened to impose sanctions on Turkey. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said President Donald Trump would be signing a new executive order giving the Treasury Department very significant new sanction authorities that could be targeted at any person associated with the government of Turkey. The Netherlands has already frozen all weapons export to Turkey. Indian-American Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy introduced a resolution in the U.S. House of Representatives celebrating Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary and his rich legacy. Introducing the resolution yesterday, Krishnamurthy said Mahatma Gandhi's dedication to public service is an inspiration, and even when faced with incredible hardships and injustice, he never wavered in the fight for freedom, dignity and equality for all. The resolution was co-sponsored by a bipartisan group of 14 other lawmakers. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Amit Khare has said that there should be seriousness on the issue of regulation of online content. Speaking at the valedictory session of the 2-day seminar on film certification and regulation of online content in Mumbai, he said any norms, self-regulation or any other system of regulations that is devised on online curated content should be implementable and widely acceptable. The government is committed for the welfare of carpet weavers and artisans and will promote handmade carpet industry in the country. Union Textile Secretary Ravi Kapoor said this while inaugurating 4-day India Carpet Expo in Varanasi yesterday. More from our correspondent.
The expo is opened in the huge campus of Dr. Sampurnanand Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya in Kashi, where more than 230 stalls from across the country are gradually exhibited here. More than 400 buyers from country and abroad have reached here to participate in the show fair and to collect their best choice. Textile Secretary Ravi Kapoor said that the government will do branding of handmade carpet for the sake of this craft from machine-made carpet and to save the and strengthen viewers. Viewers from Naxal-affected areas in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Andhra Pradesh have been given special training of basic design of carpet. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
On to sports news now. In cricket, South Africa will resume their first innings at the overnight score of 36 for 3 against India on the third day of the second test match at Pune this morning. Chasing India's mammoth total of 601 runs, the Proteas lost early wickets in the last session of the second day's play. Umesh Yadav took 2 wickets while Mohammad Shami took 1. The semi-final bouts of Women's World Championship will be held at Ulan-Ude in Russia today. Lavlina Borgosai and Jamuna Boro are among the 4 Indian boxers in the semis. 6-time world champion Mary Kom and debutant Manju Rani complete the lineup. Star sprinter Duti Chand smashed her own national record, clocking 11.22 seconds in the women's 100-meter semi-finals on her way to the gold medal at the 59th National Open Athletics Championships at Ranchi. And now for an overview of today's newspapers. It's over to Subhadra Ramachandran.
Thank you, Tanvi. The positive atmospherics between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping at the second informal summit at Mamallapuram near Chennai hogs the limelight in newspapers today. Camaraderie marks starts of Modi-Xi meeting, headlines The Hindu. Radicalisation worrying, agree Xi-Modi, writes the Tribune. The news of the J&K government considering to lift the ban on mobile telephony in the state also gets traction. Cell phone curbs in Valley may be relaxed in phases, headlines The Hindustan Times. The Indian Express highlights J&K government ad urges people to shed fear as Valley works out its own open and shutdown schedule. The Pioneer says stubble burning down by 58% in 9 days this year. UPC's maximum drop of 75%. The Times of India reports no exemption for private CNG vehicles during odd even this time. Delhi women likely to be exempt. And finally, the Hindustan Times write the Danish brewer Carlsberg develops paper beer bottle made for wood fiber at the World Mayors Summit in Copenhagen in a bid to make more sustainable packaging alternatives to reduce environmental impact and amid pressure from shoppers. With that, it's back to you, Tanvi.
Thank you, Subhadra. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping to continue their one-to-one informal talks at Mamallapuram in Tamil Nadu. India and China agree not to allow radicalisation to affect multicultural threat prevailing in both countries. India extends over $60 million line of credit to Comoros for energy and maritime defence cooperation. Turkey says it will not stop its operation against Kurdish fighters in northern Syria. US threatens fresh sanctions on Ankara. And in sports, India tightens its grip in the second cricket test against South Africa in Pune. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.